Good morning. Good morning. 早安，早安。God is good, huh? Amen. Wow, it's so good to be back in Taiwan.
很高兴回到台湾。
Yeah. Eva and I brought the cold weather from the United States.
是Eva跟我把这个冷气
So you're
团带来
welcome.
台
You're
湾的。
welcome. Yeah. You guys look so cold. Oh, I'm so proud of you guys.
我非常以大家为荣。
I mean, even in this whole time we've been in the States, we hear such good things about you.
因为我们在美国的时候听到你们很多关于你们的好
And
事，
you may not hear those things.
因为你们可能听不到，
It's because you're doing those
因
things.
为你们就是做那些事的人。
And I love it. I love who you are as
我
a
喜欢你
church.
们的为人，
Such an encouragement.
对我是很大的鼓励。
Now today is going to be a little bit different.
今天会有点不太一样，
I know some of you are going to be very disappointed
你们有些人应该会有点失望，
because I'm not going to preach a sermon
因为
today.
我今天不会讲道，
I know.
有人会失望。
You guys look happy.
你们怎么看起来很开心的样子？
I'm not going to. Someday I'm going to come and preach a sermon, okay?
你知道我以后还是会讲道的。
Today I'm not going to do any Bible teaching.
那今天我不会分享圣经的话语，
Today is very simple.
今天很简单。
I'm going to tell you a story.
我今天要跟你们讲一个
It's
见
a
证，
long story.
是一个很长的故
And it's
事
a。story of a miraculous healing that
关于
happened in my life.
这个在我生命当中所发生的一个神奇的医治。
And one of the reasons it's important for me to tell this story
很重要要告诉你们的原因是，
because I know that testimony is powerful.
那我知道说见证是非常有能力的。
And I'm trusting that when you hear this story,
我相信你们听到这个见证之后，
your faith and your hope will rise.
你们的信心跟你们的盼望会增长。
Some of you are facing healing, you're facing diseases or sickness in your life.
有些人你们自己正在面对你们自己生活当中的疾病跟痛苦，
Or difficult circumstances.
或是很艰
Or
困的
you
情况。
need healing in your heart.
或许你需要你的
Or
心
you
灵的医
need
治，
healing in your
或
relationships.
是你的关系得医治。
Today I want your faith to rise.
我今天希望你们的信心可以增长，
Faith in God's goodness.
在相信神的良善，
Faith in God's faithfulness.
相信神的信实，
Faith in God's power.
相信神的能力。
Wow, it sounds like I'm preaching.
看起来我好像已经在讲
I'm
到了，
sorry. I'm
抱歉
sorry.，
抱歉。
Listen, if I start preaching in the middle of this, just throw something at me, okay?
如果我开始讲到，你就拿糖果丢我。
All right. Now, this story starts about 6 years ago.
这个故事大概要6年前开
At
始。
that time, I started having difficulties walking
那个时候6年前开始，我大概渐渐不能开始走
and
路，
a little difficulties with my balance
然后我的平衡感也有问题，
and even a little difficulties with my head.
然后我的头发也有点问题。
And so I...
哦，头 ，hair not hair，I'm sorry。
There's no problems with my hair, okay?
是头发，是头发没有问题。
Oh, this is going to be a good story today.
今天这个见证一定非常的棒。
So I'm having problems. I'm just starting to feel these problems start.
所以6年前就开始有这些问题。
And quite honestly, I thought it was probably just side effects of the cancer treatments that I was going through.
一开始我觉得这只是一个我的那个癌症化疗的这个副作用而已。
I was going through a lot of treatments back then.
那我那时候有接受很多的癌症化疗，
Hormone therapy.
这个荷尔蒙。
That makes your hair grow, by the way.
那打荷尔蒙是会长头发的。
All right, and then there's chemotherapy.
然后还有这个化疗，
And radiation
还有
therapy.
放射线治疗。
And the first time I really felt that my walking was wrong.
那第一次我真的感觉到我的走路这方面有问题。
I was undergoing radiation therapy
那时候
in
是刚
Taipei.
开始在台北做放射线治
And
疗
so
的
I
时候
thought, oh, this walking problem is just treatments, cancer treatments.
所以就很自然而然觉得这就是不能走路，就是一个化疗的副作用。
And it started getting a little bit worse.
但是开始越严
So
重，
I started to go to different doctors.
所以我开始去找不同的医生。
I know you're only supposed to go to one doctor.
我知道你应该就只要找一个医
But
生，
the doctors were saying there's nothing wrong with you.
但是每个医生都说你没有问题啊。
They gave me all kinds of tests,
他跟我做很多的测验，
and they couldn't find anything.
但是找不到有问题。
Finally, one of the doctors began to say, well, okay, maybe you should start to take some medicine.
那这后来总有一个医生说，那我们看你服一些药好
And so
了。
I love medicine.
我很喜欢吃药
And，so I would begin to experiment which medicines maybe could help my walking.
那我就开始吃很多不同的药，看哪些可以帮助我的走路。
And my problems continued to get worse and worse.
但是我的问题还是越来越严重。
It was harder and harder to walk.
对我来讲，走路是越来越困难
And
了。
over the last 6 months to a year.
但是在过去的这个半年到1年之间，
And a lot of you know this because you've seen me.
因为你很多人看到我，你都知道，
I had a really hard time walking.
我真的是没办法走，
And it was getting worse and worse.
然后真是越来越糟
And
这
a
个
lot
状
of it
况。
was my knees were buckling.
那另外一个问题是我的这个膝盖会弯曲，
So I couldn't, yeah, mine's better than yours. Yours is, 一个跳舞的，I don't know, it was.
山寨版像跳舞。
And so I couldn't walk anywhere for very long. I could walk short distances, but not long
我可
distances.
能只能走很短的距离，没有办法走很长的距离。
And so Eva would have to walk with me.
所以那个伊爸都要陪我一起走。
Because it was important for me to get out and do some kind of exercise.
那对我来讲，这个要起来复健运动是很
So
重要的。
every time we would walk,
所以每次我们会一起走，
I'd have to hold Eva's arm
每次我们走的时候，我就要扶着伊爸，
because I'm walking like this the whole time and dropping on her.
因为我都是这样子走。
And she had to lift me up a lot.
那所以伊爸要一直要扶着我，支撑我的力
And
量，
it
这是
was
我体重。
in fact, I looked like a drunk man
我
when I
看起来
walked.
就在走路的时候就看起来就像一个喝醉的人一样。
So people say, oh, there goes the drunk with his wife helping him go home.
然后人看到我的时候觉得说啊，那个就是喝醉的人，他太太帮他回家了。
And listen, it was not just outside walking.
那不是只有在外面的走路，
It was in our house.
在家里也是一样。
You guys know that if you guys know, we have 4 flights of stairs in our house.
你知道我们家有4层楼梯，
And walking upstairs was terrible.
我在家里要上楼是很困难的
And
事，
it got worse and worse.
然后越来这个状况越来越糟。
I have a video I want you to show you today.
我也要这个让大家看，我今天有一
And
个
this
录
is
影带，
a video of me walking up the stairs.
就是我在家里怎么上楼。
I want you to know I'm very embarrassed about this.
我要告诉你，要给你们看这
But
个，我非常的不好意思。
it's important that you know what was going on.
但是你们要知道，真的很难。
And this was in July
这
of
是
this year.
今年7月拍摄的，
So can we watch this?
可以开始看了吗？
I'm really trying.
我真的很努力，你知道吗？
This is painful to watch.
看起来真的看着很痛苦，对不对？
We made this video so the doctors could see.
那我们拍这个是为了要给医生看的。
This is only 1 flight of stairs. This is from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor.
这个是从2楼走到我们家3楼，
And then I'm going to go into my office.
然后我就要去我的办公室，
I'm stuck.
我走不动了。
No pain.
我这样子走的时候，没有痛，
No strength.
就是没有力量而已。
Now I'm going into my office.
好，我要进了我的办公室，
You're about to see the drunk man.
我要看到这个喝醉的人。
I have a goal.
我的目标
I want to reach my new chair.
要到我的新的椅子，
There it is.
看到了吗？
Success. Success.
成功。
That was just in July.
这是这个今年7月的事
Did
时
that
候，
look painful to you?
看起来是不是很痛苦？
It was hard.
真的很困难。
And this was happening in my body. This was happening in my leg.
就是在我这个身体、我的腿发生的事情。
The doctors, of course, were starting to give me more and more tests now.
那现在医生给我很多的测试，
I went through every test you can imagine.
你能够想象的测试我都做过了，
And the doctors could not figure out what was wrong with me.
但是医生就是找不出我到底哪里有问题。
I mean, they guessed this, they guessed this, they guessed this, and it was never right. Their guesses were never right.
他们猜这个猜那个，但是永远都猜不对。
Finally,
最后，
this was just about a month before Eva and I went to the United States.
但是在1个月我跟伊娃去美国之前的1个月，
We started to see a doctor who was thinking that he knew what the problem was.
我们去看一个医生，他认为他知道我的问题在哪里。
And it was something he mentioned. He says, "I think it's this."
他有提，他说他认为可能是这个问题。
And so we went and we studied it a little bit.
那所以我们自己回家也开始
And I
看
thought,
研究，
yes, this is exactly what I have.
然后我们就觉得说，对，这就是我
But
碰到的问题。
for the doctor to make sure what I had, he had to give me a muscle biopsy.
那但对医生要确定真的是这个问题，他要帮我做肌肉做切片检查，
And then he could see clearly, yes, you have this.
然后他可以确认说，对你就是得到这个样子的疾病。
So he diagnosed me with something called inclusion body myositis.
所以医生后来确定我是得的包含体肌炎，
Well, for short, we call it IBM.
那我们就叫它 IBM 好了。
Okay. And
跟你的 IBM 不一样。
this is a very rare muscle disease.
这是非常罕见的肌肉的相关的
And
疾病，
it's a progressive disease.
但是这个是而且是会逐渐恶化的疾
That
病。
means that it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
意思就是说，只会越来越
And,
糟。
and this is a disease that was destroying the muscles in my body.
这样得到这样疾病的人，他的肌肉会逐渐的萎缩。
We were in the hospital just getting ready to get our biopsy.
那我们在医院准备做切片的时候，
And we just had an MRI.
然后我们才刚做完核磁共振，
The doctor wanted to see the muscles.
但是医生想要看那个肌肉，
And so he gave me the strangest MRI I've ever had.
所以我就做了一个非常特别的核磁共振，
Yeah, 奇怪的。
很奇怪的。
Yeah, it was really because they were having me do different things while I was inside the machine.
但我在那个核磁共振机里面，他要我做不同样子的动
So
作。
after the MRI,
那这个做完之后，
I'm laying in my hospital bed,
那我再躺在我医院的床上，
and the doctor came in,
医生进来了，
and he had his student doctors right behind him. You know, usually 3 or 4 student
然后很多的
doctors.
住院医师就来跟着来后面，
And he walked in and he's speaking English to me.
然后他对我用英文开始说
He
话。
says, "We have the results of your MRI."
我们有你的核磁共振的结果了
I。said, "So what is it? What's the results?"
我问他说结果是什么？
He said,
他说
"You have no butt muscle."
你的臀部是完全没有肌肉的。
I was a little happy
我其实有点开
See,
心，
because before this,
因为在这之前，
you know, when I've been walking the stairs,
当我上楼走路的时候，
Eva and I, we had read that you have to use your butt muscle to go up the stairs.
因为伊娃跟我研究过了，说这个走楼梯的时候，你的臀部的肌肉是需要用到力量
So
的。
I'm having trouble walking up the stairs,
那我发现说我上楼很困难的时候，
and sweet Eva, who is my cheerleader,
那我的伊娃是我的啦啦队队长，
she was standing behind me,
他站在我的后面
and，she said, "Use your butt muscle, use your butt
然后伊
muscle."
娃就说用你的臀部的肌肉。
And every time
但每一次，
I would turn around to her,
那我就会转过
and I
头
would，say, "I have no butt muscle."
我就会跟他说，我的臀部
And,
没有肌肉
and。now the doctor is agreeing with me.
那后来这医生终于也同意我
So I
了，
was kind of happy.
所以我很开心，医生认可我。
Sorry. This is too much information, I know.
我知道这个给你们太多的资讯了。
And then he says, and all of your leg muscles, especially your thighs.
那你的腿的肌肉，特别是大腿
the
的，
muscles around your knees.
还有这个在这个膝盖附近的肌肉，
They are almost completely destroyed.
它们几乎已经不存在了。
There's not enough healthy muscle here for us to do biopsy.
那所以在那些地方是没有足够的健康的肌肉让我们去做切片。
And that of course explained why I couldn't walk, is I just didn't have very much muscle.
当然，这就解释了为什么我没有办法走路，因为没有肌肉。
It was being destroyed by this disease.
因为我的肌肉都被因为包含体积炎都不见了。
They had to do the biopsy in my arm muscle.
所以他们后来只能用我手臂上的肌肉做切片，
Because it still had some healthy muscle.
因为在那里还有健康的肌肉。
Listen, the more I studied this disease,
这个我越来越研究这个疾病。
both of us, we were watching everything we could about this disease.
我跟伊娃一直在网络上找这样子的资讯，
And we realized how much this was going to affect our future.
我们就知道说这个疾病会怎么样子影响我们的未来。
You need to know this.
你需要知道，
There is no cure for IBM.
这个包含体积炎是没有药可以医的。
The scientists don't even know what causes IBM.
这个科学家根本不晓得这个造成体积炎的问题是什
There
么。
are no treatments that can help you in this disease.
所以目前是没有药可以医的，
There's nothing that can make it slow down.
也没有任何的药可以让这个症状减
No
缓。
medicine you can take to reverse the damage, to grow back muscles. There's nothing.
你没有办法吃任何东西让你的肌肉长回来。
My future looked like this.
所以我的未来看起来就像这个样子。
Over the next 2 or 3 years, it's going to get worse and worse and worse.
接下来2-3年只会越来越糟，
So that I would need people to take care of me all day.
所以我需要有人24小时的看着我，
Someone to help me get out of bed.
帮助我起床，
Someone would have to help me go to the bathroom.
帮助我去上厕所，
Take a shower.
帮助我洗澡。
Eat. Someone would have to feed me.
那有些人要帮助我用餐，
Because all of these muscles would be gone.
因为我的肌肉都会一个一个的不见，
And I couldn't walk anymore.
我也没办法再走路
I
了。
would have to have an electric wheelchair.
我需要有一个电动轮
A
椅，
special wheelchair.
特殊制作的轮
An
椅，
expensive
还有非
wheelchair.
常昂贵的轮椅。
And that's what it was going to look like over the next couple of years.
所以在接下来的几年看起来就会这样子。
So that's why Eva and I, some of you know, we were looking for a new house already.
所以你们知道，我跟伊娃那时候已经开始在找新的住的地方，
Because we needed to find a place that had no stairs.
因为我们要找一个没有这个楼梯的房子，
And it would be easy to go out in a wheelchair.
所以可以让这个轮椅在里面自由的进出，
That was going to change our future.
所以把我们的未来都改变了。
And so this was also, we were thinking about this a lot.
所以我们一直在思想这些问题。
Now, as you guys know,
所以你们知道，
at the beginning of October, we went to the United States.
我们10月初回美国度假。
And now, by the way, we took wheelchair, what's it called? Huh? Well, not wheelchair access. It would help me. I had a wheelchair so I could go through lines much easier. I could go through the lines of people much easier. Somebody in the airport would take me through with a wheelchair.
因为这个我没有办法走，所以我要坐轮椅，所以在机场就可以快
I should
速
have
通
written
关
that，word down.
快速就通关了。
And so, guys, this is fantastic.
所以这太棒了，
Really.
真的。
I mean, it's a little embarrassing.
虽然有点不好意思，
But I was everywhere we went. Eva was right behind me.
所以我在后面有人推着我，但伊娃就在我后
She
面
didn't，have to do very much.
他也不需要做什么事情。
And we always went to the front of the line.
所以我们每次都是在这个排队，我们就在最
So
前面，
fast, fast,
非
fast.
常快。
I don't know why I didn't think of this before. That's just a great way to travel.
哇，我从来没有想过这样子旅游是太方便了。
So we get to the United States.
所以我们到美国了，
We stayed with my sister for a week in Dallas.
我们跟我妹妹住在这个达拉斯，
She bought me a brand new wheelchair.
她帮我买了一个新的轮椅。
And we needed that wheelchair because we were going to be spending 6 weeks in Kansas.
我们真的是需要，但因为呢，我们还要再花6个礼拜待在堪萨斯。
So we went to Kansas.
后来我们就去了堪萨斯。
When we're in Kansas, we stay with a family we always stay with.
那我们就去每次我们都去的那一个家庭，
It's like this is our home in Kansas. This is our family in Kansas.
就像我们在堪萨斯的家一样。
It's the pastor of the church. Some of you guys have met him.
就是在我们这堪萨斯教会的这个牧师。
And so we go to their house.
我们就去住他们家。
I think they were a little bit surprised at how bad my condition was.
他们看到我的腿的状况，他们是有点惊讶的。
And they took such good care of us.
所以他们非常好的照顾我们。
They have 2 teenage sons.
他们有2个这个青少年的那个儿子。
And so we had to walk 15 steps. There was a staircase of 15 steps up to where our bedroom was.
那我要上楼去我的卧房的时候，我们要走15层的楼梯阶梯。
And they all learned very quickly to watch out for me when I started to climb those stairs.
当我在爬楼梯的时候，他们就马上就知道说要看着我。
And so many times,
很多次
they would grab a belt. We had a special belt for me.
那我们有一个特殊的一个皮带。
So that you could grab me and help me go up the stairs.
所以我在爬楼梯的时候，他们就可以用这个皮带在拉住我，然后帮助我上楼。
They wouldn't allow Eva to do this.
他们没有要让伊娃做这件事。
Because she's been doing it for a long time.
因为她已经在台湾做很久
They
很多
wanted
次
to
了。
give her a good rest.
她需要有一个好的休息。
And so when I was having trouble going up these 15 steps.
当我这个有困难要上这个15层的楼梯的时候
Here would come one of the boys.
那2个男的就过来。
Can I help you? Can I help you?
我说可以帮你吗
And they'd grab that belt.
他们就拉着这个皮带。
And they're teenage boys.
因为他们是年轻的少年、青少年。
Lift me up.
就把我拉起来。
And they'd take me up the stairs.
就把我整个抬到2楼。
And I so appreciated that.
我非常的感谢他们。
I had to teach them to settle them down just a little bit.
但是我跟他们说，你们可以慢一点，没关系。
Even with their help, sometimes 15 steps, 15 steps,
你只有15层的楼梯。
How long would it take you to climb 15 steps?
你要爬15层的楼梯要多久呢？
What? 15 seconds?
要15秒的吗？
Less than 15
应该不
seconds?
到15秒吧。
Sometimes it would take me 2 to 3 minutes to
有
go
时
up
候
15
我要上
steps.
楼要花2到3分钟的时间。
And that's with the teenage sons helping me up.
还是因为有这个2个青少年帮我才有
We
办
went
法
to。church during this time.
那我们去教会，在这期间，
And I would come in my wheelchair.
那我就会搭着我的轮椅，
My brand new
我的
wheelchair.
全新的轮椅。
And Eva would be pushing me.
那个伊娃就会在后面推着我。
Oftentimes somebody else would come along and help Eva, take Eva's place and push me in the church.
有时候有人看到了，就会跟伊娃换手，帮我推进教会。
We would go to the service.
那我们去参加这个聚会。
And I would sit in my wheel. No, not always. Sometimes I would just go in and sit.
那有时候我会坐在位置上，有时候我坐在轮椅
And
上。
after the service, I'd get in my wheelchair.
然后聚完会，我就拉着我的
And
轮椅，
Eva would push me back to the front of the church.
然后伊娃就把我推到教堂的前面。
And that's because I was selling my new book.
因为我在卖书。
Did I
推广
tell
我的
you
书。
I wrote a new book?
哎，我有没有告诉你，我出了一本新
It's
书啊？
already published.
已经出版了。
This is my first advertisement.
这是我第一次打广告。
And I think it's being translated very soon. So I don't know when it's going to come
我
out.
相信
but
这个
I hope it's-
中文版很快就会出来。
And sometimes, I could still walk, but I could not walk very well.
我虽然是可以走，但是没办法走得很好。
One time in the church, I think somebody told me, they said, when I saw you walk, you looked like you were a 101-year-old man walking.
有教会的人告诉我说，他看到我在走路的时候，他看起来我像110岁的老人一样。
It's true, and it's
真的，
true.
真的。
So they were shocked. Everybody was shocked at how much I'd changed since they saw me last.
所以他们很多人在教会认识我的人，看到我都觉得说，他们对我这些改变感到非常的惊讶。
One day,
有一天，
a good friend of ours in the church,
我们那个教会的里面的好朋友
he came up to Eva and I.
他来找我跟伊
He
娃。
says, here in Kansas City, there's a special college, a Bible college,
你知道在堪萨斯有一个圣经书院，
and its focus is healing.
他的
healing, divine healing.
专门讲这个神圣的医治。
And I know the director of this college.
那我认识这个校长。
It wasn't a big college, okay? It was a small college, very small,
不是
just
很
a
大
couple
的
of rooms.
就是一个小小的书院。
And he said, "Would you like for me to set up a meeting so that this person could pray for you?"
那你们想不想我帮你们安排一下，让这个校长可以为你们祷告呢？
And of course, Eva and I said yes.
那我跟伊娃说，当然好啊。
Because we had determined a long time ago, anytime someone wants to pray for me, the answer is yes.
因为我们很早之前就决定了，只要有人愿意为我们祷告，我们都会说好。
So we got in contact with this person,
所以
this woman,
我们就会联络上这个校长。
and we went to see her.
那我们就去看他。
This was on November the 3rd.
这是在11月3号。
And so we walked into this room.
我们就进到他的办公室。
It looked like a college lecture room.
这是一个像这个演讲厅一
You know,
样，
a lot of long tables and chairs.
很长的椅子在房间
And
里面。
when we went in, we met this woman.
那我们就进去了，遇见这个校长，
Very nice woman.
非常好的一个姐妹，
Very gentle woman.
非常温柔的姐妹，
Very genuine woman.
非常真实的姐妹，
This was kind of important for us.
对我们来讲很重要。
Sometimes prayer evangelists can get very intense in praying for you.
因为有些这个医治布道家，他们会对你祷告的时候就这样，
And so she was very gentle.
但是她是非常温柔的。
And as we sat down,
那我们坐下的时候，
she says let's just pray. Let's just start out by praying and asking the presence of God to come.
那校长姐妹就说，让我们一起来使用方言祷告，邀请神同在。
She says you can pray in tongues if you want to.
你也可以用方言祷告。
And so I think we spent maybe 5 minutes praying like that.
我们大概花了5分钟的时间用方言祷告。
And then when we stopped,
然后我们就停了，
she looked at me and she asked me,
然后他就看着我，然后就问我
"Do you have any pain in your body right now?"
你现在身体上有没有什么地方是会疼痛的？
And I said, "No,
我说没有，
but I'm right in the middle of a seizure."
但是呢，我刚刚好有一个癫痫发作，
She couldn't know it
他没有办法知道
because the seizure started right when I came into the room.
啊，因为这个癫痫是我走进这个房间里面的时候发作的，
She thought I always looked like that.
所以他认为我是一直
I
看起来
mean,
都是长这个
I
样子。
was doing all kinds of stuff,
但是我做过很多的
and it
事
was very uncomfortable.
啊，但癫痫发作很不舒服。
Eva knew that I was having the seizure.
伊法知道我有那时候
And
发作癫
she
痫，
had to keep bringing me back when I would start falling over.
所以当我好像快跌倒的时候，伊法都要把我拉
And
回
I
来。
says, "No pain, but I'm in the middle of a seizure."
我回答他说我没有痛，但是我现在有一个癫
And so
痫发作，
she walked behind me,
所以他就走到我的后
and
面，
she put her hand on my back,
他就把手放在我的背
and
后，
she rebuked the seizure.
他就斥责那个癫痫。
And 2 seconds later,
2秒钟之后，
not 3,
不是3秒，
2 seconds later,
2秒钟之后，
the seizure stopped.
然后癫痫就停止了，
Complete peace.
我有完全的平安。
I mean, Eva says she could feel the peace.
伊法说他可以感受到那个平安。
Then the woman came back in front of me,
所以那个姐妹就回到我们
and
的
she
前面
said, she asked an interesting question.
她就问了一个有趣的问题。
By the way, I want you to remember these questions,
那我要你也记得这些问
because
题。
these are good questions to ask when you're praying for people.
那你为人祷告的时候，你可以用这些问题来问他
She
们。
says, "Is there anything you cannot do right now because of the IBM?"
那你有没有什么事情是因为你得了这个包含体积炎，所以没有办法做的呢？
And what's that? Yeah. And okay. No, that was good. So, is there anything you cannot do right now?
那有没有什么事情是你现在已经没有办法再
So,
做的？
of course, there was a lot of things I couldn't do.
当然了，现在我得这个，我很
But
多事不
I
能做。
know that how the doctors tested me all the time.
那我就想起来说，哦，医生常常叫我
And
做这
so
个
I
做这个测
told
试。
her,
那我就跟他说，
when I'm sitting in the chair
当我坐在椅子上的时候
and，my feet are flat on the ground,
那我的脚插在地上，
I cannot lift my feet off the ground at all.
那我的脚是没有办法离开地面的。
The right one I couldn't do, the left one I couldn't lift it off the ground.
左脚不行，右脚也不行。
Are you guys going to try it right now?
你们现在可以试试看，你们有没有
I
办
know you're
法？
dying to try it. Oh, you got both feet up off
哇，
the
你2 只
ground.
脚都抬得起来耶，
So this is no problem,
所以
right?
没什么问题，对不
I
对？
couldn't do it.
我没有办法，
So she started to pray.
所以他开始为我祷
Well,
告。
first of all, she had to go behind me,
那第一个，他走到我的背
and
后，
she went underneath the table.
然后所以他因为后是我坐在长条椅嘛，所以他必须
Oh,
要
oh, you don't have to do this, Rick. You go ahead and go right on over there.
So
he would be in a lot of trouble if he had to. You just.
他要趴到那个椅子下面，
And she went underneath the table behind me. She got underneath.
他要再坐我到我的后面，
And
然
she
后
went
趴到桌子底
underneath.
下
She，went underneath my chair,
然后趴到我的椅子底
and
下，
she grabbed my feet with her hands.
然后用他的双手握住我的双脚。
I don't know why she went there, but she did. She was there.
我不晓得他为什么要这样做，但是
And
他就这样做了。
she spent like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, I think. Is that about right?
他大概
15, 20
祷
seconds.
告了15秒
And
到
it was
20秒，
just praying for my feet.
就是为我的脚祷
Now,
告。
listen, I know it wasn't a foot problem.
我知道这个跟我的脚没有
It
关
was
系，
I had very little muscle here.
我只是没有肌肉，
I had no butt muscle.
我的臀部也没有肌肉，
But she's praying for my feet
但是为我的脚祷告
because，she wants to see deliverance in my feet.
因为他要我看到我的脚得释放
So。she says, try to lift your right foot.
那你现在那个用右脚抬抬看，
No, can't do it.
没办法。
Try to lift your left foot.
那看你的左脚，
Nothing. I can't
没
do
办
it.
法。
She prayed again, 15 seconds.
他又再为我祷告一次，15秒
Now
钟。
let's try again. Lift your right foot.
那你右脚试试看，
Nothing.
没办法。
Guys, my right leg was my strongest leg.
你知道我的右脚是比较有力的那个只脚，
Okay? She says, now try your left leg.
那你试试看左脚，
Nothing.
也没办法。
She says, this is the last time we're going to pray.
啊，这我想说今天是最后一次了，
And she put her hands on my feet
他又再为我祷告最后一次，
and she prayed for 15 seconds.
用手抓着我的脚祷
Mostly
告
just
15秒，
commanding the disease to leave.
要命令那个疾病离开我的身体。
She said, try your right foot.
然后现在试试看你的右脚，
Nothing.
没办法。
And I have to admit, I'm getting a little discouraged right
你
now.
知道那个时候我已经开始有点
Say-
是那个
Say,
有点灰
I
心
know
了。
this is the last time she's going to pray for my
我
legs.
知道他是说最后一次了。
She says, try your left leg,
那
your
现在
left foot.
试试看你的左脚，
Can you see?
你看得到吗？
It lifted that high off the ground.
大概就2公分
That's all. Just that high.
，2公
I
分，
couldn't
只
get
能
any
2公
more
分，
than that.
没有办法超过2公分。我只提得起来2公
But
分。
I knew something was going on
我知道有些事情
because
正
I
在发
haven't
生，
been able to lift my feet like this for months.
因为我已经好几个月没有办法完全没办法提起来。
And that was the end of our prayer time.
然后我们的祷告就结束了，
We walked back, we said goodbye.
然后就跟校长再见，
We took selfies.
然后我们就拍照，自拍了一
That's
下。
not how you do it, is it? I think you do it like, I don't know how you do it.
我
All
不知道
right.
你怎么自拍。
And then we walked out to our car.
那我们就走回去我们的车上，
We drove back to our home.
开回去我们的家，
We go in the door.
然后我们进去房
Eva
子，
goes upstairs.
那伊娃上楼了，
I don't know what she was doing up
我不晓
there.
得她在楼上做什么
But。I felt something in my spirit saying, stay downstairs.
那我的灵里面跟我讲说，你留在楼
And
下。
as I think about it now, I didn't understand it then, but as I think about it now, I really believe it's the Holy Spirit saying, stay downstairs.
我那时候不明白，但是我现在想起来说，是圣灵要我留在
And
楼下。
it's like, I want you to do that test again.
他说，因为我认为圣灵要我再做那个测试，再
I
测一
said,
次。
okay, let's do that.
我说好，我试
So I
试
went
看。
to the kitchen table.
那我们就走，我就走
And
到那
I
个
pulled
厨
out
房，
I pulled out a chair.
椅子拉开来，
I sat in the chair
那我就坐在椅子上，
and I said, okay, right leg, left leg, lift.
然后我就说右脚抬起来，
And it came straight up off the floor.
马上就抬起来了。
Both of them. I'm going.
左脚、右脚、左脚、右脚，
I was shocked.
Well-
I was stunned.
我非常的惊讶，
I said, I got to do more tests.
我一定要再多做一点测试。
I know another test that was really hard for me.
我知道还有另外一个对我来讲也是很难的测试，
Standing up from a chair.
就是从椅子上站起来。
How many times can you stand up from a chair?
你可以从椅子上连续
And
坐着站着几
Up,
次呢？
up to this time, up to November 3rd,
在11月3号之前，
I was only able to stand up 3 times.
我只能最多只能连续3次。
You can try it if you want to right
你也
now.
可以试，你
How
可以
many
做几
times
次
can。you stand up?
你从多几次，你可以几次从椅子上站起来。
Do it. Some of you are doing really good.
哦，
Okay,
你
you
们
can
看
stop
起来都
now.
很厉害。
Just to get the. I could only do 3.
我最多只能做3
The
次，
4th time, I could go this far. I could not get up.
第4次我就起不来了。
So I'm going to test it now.
我现在说我要来做这个测试，
I stood up
然后我就站起来，
15 times in a row.
连续15次。
I'm going, this is crazy.
我说这是疯了。
And then I thought, okay, what would Eva do right now?
那伊娃现在会要我做什么呢？
How would she test me?
她会要我做哪
I
些测
know
试
how
呢？
she would test me.
他为什么测试我呢？
Because she has a favorite exercise.
因为他有一个很喜欢做的运动，
She would have me do squats.
他要我做深蹲。
You know what squats are?
你知道什么是深蹲
So
吗？
it's like this.
就像这样，
So I started doing squats.
然后我就开始做深蹲了，
I think I did 10 squats.
我就做了10个深蹲
Listen,。you cannot do squats if you have no muscles here.
如果你的腿上没有肌肉，你怎么能做深蹲呢？
This is an amazing miracle happening.
这是一个神迹呀！
But I knew there was one more test.
我知道还有一个测试要
Oh,
做。
but first of all, you have to know that Eva did not know what had happened, what
Yeah.
I'm doing downstairs.
你们要知道，那个时候伊娃在楼上都还不晓得楼下发
And
生
I
什么
did
事
not
情。
run up the stairs and tell her.
我也没有办法，我也没有上楼去跟她
I
讲发生
waited
什
a
么事
little
情。
while.
我等了一下，
And now the family, I don't know, the family has come home.
然后那个我们的朋友回来了，
And they're sitting around talking with Eva.
然后他们就坐着跟伊娃讲话，
And I'm sitting here smiling.
然后我就坐在椅子上在那边微笑，
I say, hey, Eva,
然后我就说伊娃，
watch this.
看我，
And I started doing
然
this.
后然后我的脚就一直动。
But we have one more test.
但是我们还有一个测试
This
需
is
要
a
做，
big test.
是一个很重要的
We。did it the next day.
我们隔天就去了，
We went to the mall.
我们就去这个购物中心，
And we walked.
然后我们就开始走路，
We walked for 2 hours.
我们走了2个小时。
And listen, my knees did not buckle one time. They did not buckle
我
one
我们
time.
逛了2个小时，我的膝盖我一次都没有弯曲，
There's not once.
一
Not
次都
once.
没有。
Since November 3rd.
自从11月3号
I've
被我
done a
祷
lot
告
of
之后，
walk, and that's when she prayed for me.
当那个姐妹为我祷告之后，
I've walked a lot.
我常常走路，
I have not had one time where my knees buckled.
我一次也没有膝盖弯曲。
This is huge. And this is an amazing miracle of God.
这是一个非常非常棒的神迹，
There is no cure for IBM.
因为这个体积也是没有药可以医的。
There is no future for anyone who has IBM.
得到体积炎的人是这个未来是很惨的，
There's no medicine for IBM.
因为体积炎没有药可以医，
And what the doctors couldn't do,
医生没办法做的，
what the medicine couldn't do,
药物没办法做的，
God did.
神却做了，
He is a good God.
因为他是良善的神。阿们。
I hope your faith is rising.
我希望你的信心现在正在被提
I
升，
hope your hope is
我
rising.
希望你的盼望提升。
Yeah, I want to tell you one other little thing.
那我要告诉你另外一件事。
Before we went to the United
我
States,
们去回美国之前，
Eva was in a cell group, a Zoom cell group.
伊娃参加了一个这个线上的小组，
Yeah, and Zoom, right?
就用 Zoom 的
Okay,
线上
all
的
right.。And then they divided off, and so she was with 3 people. There was 3 of them in this small
然后后
group.
来分组，但他们那组有3个人
And
在
they were
彼此祷告，
prophesying. They were prophesying over one
他
another.
们就彼此这个发先知性的预言。
And one of them, it was one of our brothers here in the church.
然后有一个是这个我们教会的弟兄，
He said, Eva, I'm a little uncomfortable saying this, because he was prophesying over Eva.
然后他是为伊娃祷告，所以他说：“哎呦，我有点不好意思跟你讲，
This is. I just feel uncomfortable.
我觉得要跟你讲这件事情，我觉得不太舒服。
But I feel like God is saying this,
但是我觉得神跟我说，哎，
that when you go to the United States,
当你们去美国的时候，
someone is going to pray for Greg,
有一个人会为 Gregg 祷告，
and he's going to get healed.
然后Gregg就会得医治。
That's what kind of church we have here,
这就是我们的教会，
isn't it?
是不是？
God, hearing God, speaking out what God says.
听神的话，然后宣告神的话。
I want you to know also,
我也要你们知道，
you guys have been a part of this amazing miracle.
你们也是在这个神迹里面的一份子。
Some of you might be thinking, wow, it was that woman that prayed for Greg.
你说不是啊，是那个校长为你祷
And
告的
yes,。she was an anointed woman.
她
She was,
没错，她是一个被恩高的
she-
姐妹。
but there was a lot of, I don't think that's the only part of my healing.
但是我相信那个不是我得医治的唯一
Can I
的
tell
祷
you,
告，
that woman never saw me fully healed.
因为那个姐妹从来没有看到我完全
Do
的
you
医治。
know that?
她知道了吗？
She only saw me this much healed.
因为她只看到我提起来2
That's
公
all she
分，
saw.
她只看到这样。
How does this work?
这怎么能够做到呢？
I really don't know.
我真的不晓得，
I don't know the ways of God in healing.
我不晓得神怎么样医治。
I know He is a good God.
我只知道他是良善
I
的
know
神，
He is a powerful
我
God.
知道他是有能力的
I
神，
know He is a faithful
我知道
God.
他是良善
I
信实的神。
know He wants us to be healed. He wants to heal us.
我知道他想要医治我们，而且也愿意医治
But I
我
don't
们。
know really how my healing happened.
但是我真的不晓得我被得医治是怎么来的。
But I know this because God has spoken this really deep in my heart.
但是我知道神对我的心这样说：
You guys are part of my healing.
你们也是我这个得医治的一部分，你们也参与在其中。
The number of you who have prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed and prayed for my healing.
因为你们一直持续的不断的为我的得医治在祷告。
God was pleased with those prayers.
神感谢你们这些
It's
祷
like they
告，
almost built something in the heavenlies.
好像在天上一直在建筑。
When you walk down our stairs down here, you'll see this huge tree painting on the wall
你们走楼梯下去的时候，你会看到有一个画，
that used to hang outside of our house.
那个是之前是放在我们
Because
家外面，
so many of you would come by every day for 2 months and pray for healing.
所以有2个月的，你们每天都有人到我们家门口来为我们都有得医治祷告。
I know this.
我知道
You are part of this healing miracle.
你们也参与在这个神奇的医治的当中，
So thank you.
感谢你们，
Thank you for your faithfulness in praying.
感谢你们不断的持续的祷告，
Thank you in praying for Eva.
感谢你们这样为我们跟意外祷告。
And you know, we don't have to find a new house anymore.
我们现在也不用找新的住处，
I can walk the stairs just fine.
我现在可以很自由的
In
上楼。
fact, yesterday
昨天
I had 2 cups of coffee,
我昨天拿着2杯
and
咖啡，
I walked 2 flights of stairs without spilling any coffee.
然后我就拿着咖啡走了2层楼都没有洒出来，
Eva can't do that.
连伊法都做不到。
Spilling it all over. Not me, man. I'm just. Listen, I know that in this room right now, there are some of you that need healing.
我知道现在在这个房间里面有些人是需要得医治的，
And your faith has been rising.
你的信心正在扬
You
起
have
来，
seen an amazing miracle of God.
因为你们现在正在亲眼目睹一个神所做的神迹。
Listen, if God did this for me, He can do it for
你
you.
知道吗？神如果可以坐在我身上，神也可以坐在你的身上。
You understand?
你知道吗？
Why don't you say that?
你这样说好吗？
If God did this for Greg, He can do it for
你
me.
说神如果可以帮Gregg做，也可以为我做。
Say that.
这样说，神可以为Gregg做，神也可以为我
For
做。
me. That's right.